back to the Nerdy Grail and welcome to a brand new ranking video here on the channel. Now this is a really interesting one because I have done similar themes before where I've done rankings of favourite movies of the year, favourite Spider-Man movies, so on and so forth. But I've never really discussed what my top 10 favourite and least favourite movies are in terms of the superhero genre in general. So mixing everything, whether it's animated, whether it's DC related, whether it's Marvel related, anything in the world of superhero comic books, doing my top 10 best or top 10 favourite and top 10 worst or least favourite films. And that is what I'm planning on doing today. So in today's video, I'm going to focus on the top 10 best or my top 10 favourite superhero and comic book movies of all time. So these are the 10 movies that I know that I always adore, always love, will instantly go to put on if I'm having a bad day. Have done rewatches multiple times, bought the 4Ks, bought the steelbooks, got the collectibles. These are my favourite superhero movies. And depending on how this video does, I will then move on and do my top 10 least favourite or worst movies in regards to superheroes and comics. Now, like any list, obviously, this is just my personal opinion. And your favourite movie probably won't be on this list. There might even be movies on this list that you wouldn't even consider to be in your top 10 superhero movies of all time, let alone like the best Marvel or best DC or best comic book movies. But that's okay. We're all different. And I just want us to make sure that we all keep our comments respectful. But I would also really love to hear your list. So you're more than welcome to leave them in the comments down below. But how this is going to work is obviously I'm going to tell you my 10 favourite movies, so 10 being my least favourite of my top 10 and 1 obviously being my favourite of all time. But I'm also going to go through 2 honourable mentions, shall we say. So there'll be honourable mentions in this video, and then if I do a least favourite, there'll be 2 dishonourable mentions. I have also decided to try and limit myself a little bit because some people know I am a little bit more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but I thought to make it fair, since there is 10 movies on this list, 12 if I want to count the 2 honourable mentions I'm doing, I decided to cap myself at only 5 DC movies and 5 Marvel movies going on this list. So in the top 10, there's going to be 5 Marvel movies and 5 DC movies. And then I've picked 1 honourable mention, 1 from Marvel and 1 from DC. So there are 6 DC and 6 Marvel movies on this list in total as my favourite of all time, just to make it fair, so that it wouldn't be something like, 8 Marvel movies and 2 DC movies, or 9 DC movies and 1 Marvel movie. I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. But that's all the rules and how I'm going to work it out the way. Let's jump straight into this list then of my top 10 favourite superhero and comic book movies of all time. So to start off this list, let's do the honourable mentions, shall we? So I'm going to put them both on screen, both the DC and the Marvel one, and I'm then going to talk about them then individually. So for the DC route, my honourable mention is going to Batman vs. Two-Face, the animated movie, and for Marvel, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume number 1. Guardians 1. So, in terms of Batman vs. Superman, so this came out in 2017. This was Adam West's last ever appearance or voice role as Batman. Obviously, because he had already passed away, so this had come out after that. But also, it involved Burt Ward, who plays Robin, and Julie Newmar, who played Catwoman. They also came back to reprise their roles, and William Shatner played the role of Harvey Dent and Two-Face, and it featured a lot of rogues gallery from lots of other major Batman villains. The Joker was in there, the Riddler was in there, Penguin was in there, Hugo Strange was there, and they introduced a Harleen Quinzel, who I believe in like a Blu-ray exclusive clip came back as like Harley Quinn breaking Joker out of prison. But it was such a fascinating, well-paced. The animation was brilliant. Adam West and Burt Ward did a fantastic job. I think William Shatner is probably up there as one of my favourite versions of Two-Face. It was so interesting the way they went about Two-Face in that movie. You even had Robin possessed by Two-Face and had a Two-Face Robin at some point in the movie. I thought it was really interesting the fact that Two-Face was able to take the Harvey persona out, and they were able to like switch back and forth, and I thought it was done really well. It was just such a fascinating and well done movie, so I had to put it on an honourable mention. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, need I say more? You know, every single actor in that movie was ridiculously good. It was hilariously funny. It was visually stunning. Ronan the Accuser is not my favourite villain in the MCU. I think he could have been done a little bit better. I can't deny the dance fight to save the universe or the galaxy was funny. Yes, it was a bit cringy at times, but I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I haven't laughed so much in a cinema as I did with Guardians 1. And like I said, the team with Star-Lord and Rocket and Groot and Drax and Gamora, they were so good. And yeah, it was just an enjoyable ride from start to finish. So those are the two honourable mentions. But then moving on then into the top 10. So coming in 10th place, we've actually got James Gunn's Superman from 2025. Yes, the first in the new DC Universe movies with James Gunn at the helm, David Corenswet playing Clark Kent and Superman. It was just a fun ride. It was bright, it was colourful, it was funny, the pacing was great. I thought Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was phenomenal and did such a good job. I thought Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was really good. They had fantastic chemistry. I love the kiss scene where Superman and Lois are flying up in like a building or a mall or a city hall or whatever, and they do that kiss. It was absolutely brilliant. I did think at times it was a little bit packed. You know, they were bringing in lots of other characters like Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, and you had Mr. Terrific, and they had almost like a Bizarro style Superman as another little villain on the side. There was lots of stuff going on. He's trying to set up the full universe, so it did get a bit jumbled at times, but I can't deny it. I thought it was really good, really lighthearted, and really took me back to like a Superman day that I've always treasured. I've always liked the more light-hearted stuff. Like, Zack Snyder did a great job, but I thought sometimes his movies like Man of Steel and Batman v Superman were a bit too dark and gloomy for the character of Superman at times, and so I appreciated the more light-hearted take on Superman, which felt a bit more comic booky. So that was really good. So that's my number 10. Then coming in at number 9, then I have actually got The Batman from 2022. Now, for some people, this may shock them. For others, they might not be a shock, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed The Batman. I enjoyed going to watch it in the cinema. It was a really good cinema experience for me. It was very dark, very gritty, but I felt like that was really, you know, that's sort of the universe he's trying to portray with this version of Batman, played by Robert Pattinson, who I believe is a lot better as Batman than as Bruce Wayne. I wasn't overly sold on his Bruce Wayne. What I did appreciate in this movie was Batman being a lot more detective-based, because obviously in other Batman movies that we've seen in the past, like the Christian Bale ones or whatever, it doesn't really feel like they use the world's greatest detective thing anywhere near as much. It felt a bit more comic book accurate for Batman. I actually didn't mind the Riddler. I know a lot of people thought that this Riddler was a little bit too annoying. He was basically like a TikTok influencer, always going via the phone and stuff. But I liked how crazy he was, and that was based on the world building they had at the time. Like I said, there was some fantastic casting as well. I thought Andy Serkis was interesting as Alfred. I'm still not fully sold on him as Alfred, but I think he will grow on me. Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, you know, the Penguin. I thought he did a brilliant job. He is one of my favourite Penguins, not my favourite Penguin, but he's up there. And the Penguin series that followed I thought was really, really good. I don't know, I felt like pacing-wise it was a little bit long at times, but it was still a fun ride and one that I've gone back to rewatch on numerous occasions. Then moving on, in 8th place then, I have got Deadpool and Wolverine from 2024, the only MCU movie that came out that year. Look, I love Deadpool. I thought Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool 1 and 2 was fantastic, more so in Deadpool 1 than Deadpool 2, but I also like Deadpool 2, to be honest. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine is the GOAT, and he's been Wolverine forever. He is the only true live-action Wolverine that we've got until we get another one eventually. So he did a fantastic job. Yes, it did feel a bit fan-servicey at times, you know, for the Fox universe, this, that, and the other, where you brought characters like Chris Evans' Human Torch and Sabretooth and characters like that, and Elektra and Blade, you know. Yes, they really were being fan-servicey. But I don't know, it feels like in a Deadpool movie you can do that sort of thing. And I've laughed, I was cheering, I thought it was very well paced, and it was just a fun ride. It's just a fun movie. Is it a bit of a mess? Yes. But is it fun? Absolutely. Okay, then moving on into 7th place then, I've got another animated movie, another DC movie as well. It is Batman Assault on Arkham from 2014. I love this movie. It may be a little bit of bias because I do really like the fact that it's got a slight loose connection to the Arkham franchise, the video games like Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, and so on. It's a very loose connection. It's not like heavy on it, but there is a slight loose connection to it. But it focuses on the Suicide Squad, so like the 2016 Suicide Squad and the 2021 The Suicide Squad. It's another version of like that. But in animated forms, where Amanda Waller gets a crew together to break into Arkham to basically find the Riddler and steal some like plans and stuff that the Riddler had taken from them. So it's all about the Riddler, which Riddler was great. The cast and crew, you've got like Killer Shark, Killer Frost, King Shark, Killer Frost. You've got Deadshot, you've got Harley Quinn. There were some really, really good characters in here. Kevin Conroy does the voice of Batman, but Batman takes a little bit of a back step in this one because it's mostly about the Suicide Squad. Troy Baker does the voice of Joker, and he has done the voice of Joker many a time, so it's really nice to hear his voice. Obviously, we would love Mark Hamill, but Troy Baker is up there as one of the best as well. Can't deny. But it is such a fun movie. It's quite a short movie as well, and it's really well paced, and just hearing those legendary voices and the animation style is really, really good. Then coming in 6th place, I have got Joker from 2019. Yes, not whatever happened with Joker, Filet d'Oeil, whatever. Joker, the first one, the original one, so ignore the sequel. This one from 2019 with Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, I thought was really, really good. It was really captivating. It was an emotional journey. I liked the sort of Elseworld take they got of Joker, giving him a bit of a backstory. I feel like the Joker persona should always be a bit of a mystery because that's, really good and clear for Batman. But I feel like doing it in an Elseworld is really, really good. And I like this movie. I like that in the end it ended up all being in his head. The life he built for himself, the relationship that he reckons he found, but it was all a lie, and that's what snapped him over the edge, and he eventually then took on the full Joker persona because the world wasn't fair to him, and the world treated him like scum, like a piece of dirt, and I just really, really enjoyed the storytelling, and the visual storytelling by the end when he finally put on the smile and took over as Joker. I thought that was absolutely really good. Did we need the Bruce Wayne parents' death scene again at the end? Not really. I don't really know why they did that because they were never intending on bringing Batman into this Elseworld. I don't think, but it was a bit weird. But I think it was just for the Batman fans, as a little bit of a loose connection there. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really good movie, and Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. Then coming into my top 5, number 5 might shock some people because I know some people like it, some people don't, but I really like this movie. It's up there as one of my favourite MCU movies. Number 5 is going to Thor Ragnarok from 2017. It's my favourite Thor movie. I remember really, really enjoying the movie when it came out. I enjoyed the humour. Thor Love and Thunder does have the humour that Thor Ragnarok does, but I think Thor and Thunder turns the notch a little bit too high and does it worse, whereas Thor Ragnarok has the perfect blend of dark and really silly humour, and I think the characters all bounce off each other well. Thor is great, Loki's great, I love Hulk in this movie. Yes, Hulk was sort of not going through the best patch, but I feel like Hulk's last true good movie for me was in Thor Ragnarok, before obviously Infinity War he got beaten by Thanos and then became Smart Hulk. But yeah, I really enjoyed the fight between Hulk and Thor. I enjoyed Jeff Goldblum as, what was he? He was the Grandmaster. That's it, the Grandmaster. I was going to say the Collector then. No, he's the Grandmaster. He was done really, really well. Loved Jeff Goldblum. I loved the character of Valkyrie. Thought she was phenomenal. Hela could have been a little bit better as a villain. I didn't really connect with the scenes on Asgard. I was always like, can we go back to the other scenes with Thor and Hulk and Valkyrie and Loki and all. The cameo from Doctor Strange was good. I quite liked that. It was a fun movie and led really well into Infinity War, so I quite liked Thor Ragnarok. Then in fourth place, then, I have put The Dark Knight from 2008, the second in the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. For me, this is the best one. It was the first one I actually watched as well. I watched this one before Batman Begins, and then I saw The Dark Knight Rises in cinemas in 2012. But this was the best one for me. I really, really liked it. Is it the best version of Batman? Probably not. But is it a great superhero movie? Yeah, I think it is a really good superhero movie. And I think Heath Ledger's Joker is absolutely phenomenal. I know some people say he's overrated or whatever, or but he's just a star. The stuff with the pencil, with the thugs, I love all that. And do you want to know how I got these scars? They're all iconic lines and iconic scenes that if it's that iconic and if you can remember it just like that, then I think that a movie has stuck with you and done something right. And it's really good. I think they could have done a little bit more with Two-Face. I feel like they built up Harvey as this hero to turn him into Two-Face, which was great, but it was very rushed at the end and he got killed off too quick. So I wasn't really keen on that side of it. But I just thought that Christian Bale as Batman was really, really good. I loved Morgan Freeman in this movie. There was so many good things. Jim Gordon was fantastic. It was a really good movie, a dark movie as well. Then coming into my top three, so taking the bronze medal, I mentioned him earlier. Hugh Jackman's back on the list because Logan from 2017 is my third favourite superhero movie of all time, or comic book movie. I love Logan. When I was crying my eyes out in the cinema because at the time we were like, this is Hugh Jackman's last ever time playing Wolverine, which is why they went for the higher rating of 15 over here in the UK and whatever, so they could get as much swearing and blood and gore in this movie as they could, because this is what Hugh Jackman wanted, and he was going out with a bang, and he did. His emotional death was heartbreaking, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a visual masterpiece, visually stunning. The side characters, there was constant reminder of that, death is near, we can't go on, we need to live, we need to treasure little moments and make the most of the time we have. I thought that was really, really nice. You saw that through the eyes of Charles Xavier and through Stephen Merchant's character as well. It was just really good. And Laura as well, and Logan's relationship with Laura, I thought was really nice. Honestly, it was just beautiful and brilliant in every way possible. Then taking the silver medal in second place, it's going to my favourite MCU movie still to this day, and that is Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Infinity War and Thor Ragnarok sometimes do shift back and forth, but Avengers Infinity War, I can't deny, the cinema experience alone is worth Infinity War being this high on the list, because it was such a good cinema experience. It was phenomenal. It was brilliant. It had everything you want. The pacing was great. Every character and team worked so well. And obviously everyone getting dusted at the end was, it was heartbreaking. Kind of predictable. We knew they were going to come back, some of them, because how can you kill off those big name characters at that time when we knew what the slate was going forward? But Thanos was a brilliant villain. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, just everyone. Scarlett Johansson, just everybody in this movie was great. And, all the years that had been building up, the 10 years prior, all came to its climax here, and it was worth it. Every single second. Visually, it was beautiful. Emotionally, it was beautiful. And it also was funny from time to time as well. But my favourite superhero short comic book movie of all time is still going to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse from 2019. Yeah, not Across, Into the Spider-Verse. The first one, I adored Into the Spider-Verse. And I think it's the chemistry that Miles has with those other heroes, Peter B. Parker, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir, Penny Parker. I love that group. I love the Prowler and his relationship with Uncle Aaron. I cry at the death of Uncle Aaron. It is absolutely ridiculously heart-wrenching. Kingpin and the female Dr. Octopus, or Olivia Octavius, whatever, she's brilliant. And Kingpin, wow, what a unit that man is. He is so good. The art style and the animation is just pops everywhere. You're constantly drawn in, and it does it in such a good way. The pacing, the storytelling, everything. There's not a single moment of this movie that I hate, and there's not a single moment of this movie that drags. It is an absolutely masterpiece of a movie. Across the Spider-Verse is also really, really good, but just I feel like this set the template and set the template so strongly that it deserves the recognition it gets. But that is going to be it. That is my top 10 favourite superhero movies. So on screen I'll have put the 10 and even the honourable mentions again for you to check out. But what did you think of my list? I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please like it by giving it a thumbs up and comment down below what your top 10 superhero or comic book movies would be. And subscribe if you are new. But for now, this is the Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.